Welcome to Fourth and Goal. This is a segment live stream that we're doing. I told you we're keeping to a Monday through Friday live stream schedule. So we are hopping on around 8:30 p.m. depending on the time that I get out from Raiders headquarters. So today we're doing it at 8:30 p.m. Fourth and Goal. Usually it's the rundown of what happened throughout the week when I talk to the coaches, when I interview the players, and how they're preparing for that week's opponent. Fortunately for us, there is no off season. We're getting ready for the draft. So we're going to talk about the news, rumors, and everything in between as it relates to, obviously, the Raiders defense. If you guys haven't heard the news, again, we're going to go ahead and talk about this. But Budda Baker is a guy who I really like. I really love him for a number of different reasons. Don't know him personally, obviously. But I like what I see on film from him. Graded him over the last 3 years. Graded every single snap from 2020 to 2022. I'm going to give you a rundown as to why he's one of my favorite players, but more importantly, why it makes sense or why it doesn't make sense for the Las Vegas Raiders. Look, if I don't report that it's going to be happening, or if I don't put it on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that, odds are it's a non-issue. And so I always keep telling you guys, you have 24 hours to follow who you want to follow. Choose to follow who you want, but just be mindful that when people put stuff out there, it's really pushing a narrative that the receipts are on the line, right? Whether it be my receipts or someone else's receipts. So again, that's why I say keep score what's going on. Because at the end of the day, like people say, oh, no one can tell the future. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's part of my job is to predict the future. So here we go. We're going to leave no stone unturned. Just want to say mahalo and thank you to each and every one of you for subscribing to the channel, spreading the word to all your family and friends. Raider Room, thank you so much. Follow them on Instagram. They do a really good job keeping you up to date on all things Raiders. Really do a good job. Raider Room does a good job. Raider Wade does a really good job. And Raider Rain does a really good job. I know it's crazy because they all sound the same, but they're different. I promise you. All different people run the show. So everyone in there does a really, really good job. I have so much respect for those guys. They push out content. And that's not even their 9 to 5. And they're pushing out content for all of you silver and black fans out there. Hence the nation, right? And so, again, they're very passionate about what they do. So I just wanted to say mahalo for them, because they do a really good job at that. But let's go ahead and talk about this, right? Let's talk about Budda Baker, right? And it's kind of like one of those things, right? We talked about it yesterday. There's 24 of you guys watching it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and please do me a solid and spread the work and word to all your family and friends about the nation news that I bring you straight from Raiders headquarters. I literally live half a mile from Raiders headquarters. Literally, I can run there right now. So I know what goes on. And I'm there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And, of course, on game days up in the press box at Allegiant Stadium, coming out of the black hole, just like the players. So you're going to get a fresh perspective. Not saying it's better or worse, right? When we talk about grading the box score, not grading the box score, grade the snap, not the box score. Something I came up with covering the Niners is it's just a different flavor. Like everyone can go to the box score and say this guy had 13 and a half sacks at the end of the year. Okay, but how many of those sacks were actually his sacks? How many were created by pressures from blitzes? How many were those created by just being mop-up sacks or cleaning up the trash? You know what I'm saying? So how many of those were coverage sacks? I mean, that goes in my grading system. You have to account for that. Because if you're a talent evaluator and like I said, you choose to follow who you want to follow. But for me, I don't rely on PFF. I have my own grading system. All right. And so that's why I like to do the work. So when players like Budda Baker comes into play, and if he's a good fit, how's that going to fit financially if they can fit him into the cap? Who would have to restructure their deals? I mean, there's different layers of the onion to really get to the core, as we always like to say here in the DOB. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. A lot of different layers here. But first, let's go ahead and talk about Budda Baker. Who the heck is Budda Baker, right? Budda Baker, I'm going to make a little graphic here. I shouldn't say graphic because I suck at making graphics, but I am going to make ticker here. Thank you so much, Stuart Stokes. He said, just subscribe. Salute, my guy. Thank you so much. And thank you for following me here on YouTube. Excuse me. Little tired. Just got back from the gym. And we're going to go ahead and talk about this, right? We're going to talk about Budda, right? Budda Baker. One of my favorite players. Why? Because he's short like me, and he plays like he's 6'7" and hits like he's a 6'5", 260-pound linebacker running full steam ahead. I mean, the guy is very, very good, but there's lapses in his game. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. So when I talk about grading the snap, not the box score, let's just go ahead and you see that ticker right here. What's the valuation versus evaluation? There's always 3 parameters when I talk about a player or when I talk about a coach coming into the new regime, right? We talk about this, right? If you're new to Follow Me Nation fans, be sure to hit the subscribe button because you're not going to want to miss a beat from a guy on the beat. And so really, it's a different flavor that I'm going to provide you here. No one's going to be talking about this because, that's just not their flavor. This is my flavor, right? Niner fans have accustomed to know my flavor over the past decade. So again, I take this very seriously. So when you talk about valuation versus evaluation of a player, you can't simply just plug and play a player and say, oh, well, he's a household name, you should go after him. No, let's run the grades. Well, I can guarantee you no one ran 3 years worth of grades that covers the Raiders. Guarantee you. Except for this guy. Right? So let's talk about that. Put my money where my mouth is, right? And so let's go ahead and do it, right? So back in 2020, let's pull it up. In my grading system, right? In my grading system, he had 7 missed assignments versus the run. He also had 12 missed tackles versus the run. He had 2 tackles for no gain. He had 5.5 tackles for loss for minus 14 yards of hitting yardage, 14.5 tackle wins. This is all versus the run. And this is where he really sets himself apart from the rest of the safeties, right? It's not him being a dual threat, not a one-trick pony as a run-stuffing traditional box safety. He can also be the single high safety because he runs a 4-3-4-4. We get it. But he's also a great blitzer, and that is a chess piece that would work under Coach Graham's system. So if you're asking me, is he a fit in Coach Graham's system? Obviously, yes. He'd be a cultural fit in any system. Why? Because you can do what's called false rotation. Right? I talked about it with Coach McDaniels. If you guys follow me from day one, we talk about false rotation from pre to post snap play. I talked about Budda Baker with Josh Jacobs earlier in the year, right? If you missed what I had to say and what Josh Jacobs told me about Budda Baker, go ahead and be sure to watch all my static videos, locker room pulse interviews throughout the year, as well as how that relates to the live stream that we're talking about. I mean, we covered this. Why did I bring up Budda Baker to Josh Jacobs out of everyone? Well, one, he's a blitzer, right? So who is going to be the extra man protection when it comes to coming out of the flat? That would be Josh Jacobs because he's running back, right? Josh Jacobs talked about it. I'm not going to spill the beans on it. It's already out there, but I want you guys to watch the video. That's how I get paid. But Budda Baker's a great blitzer, right? It's a seeking missile up the A and B gaps, can come climbing off the edge as well, right? So in my grading system back in 2020, I had 5 quarterback pressures, 1 quarterback hit. He also had a pass breakup and had 2 sacks in the process just as a blitzer off the edge. This is where he has problems, guys. Coverage, right? If you're going to be a single high free safety, and I talked about it with Coach Graham in training camp, we all know what I asked him. I was like, hey, safety is a quarterback of the secondary. Correct, right? Coach Simmons even admitted, yeah, you're right. So he is the quarterback of the secondary. Again, a cultural fit because he's another coach on the field that can get everyone in position to make plays on the back end there, on that 3rd level. Here's the problem. Coverage. He has 4.3, 4.4 speed, but then he does give up a lot, right? What I mean by that? Okay, I have the grades to prove it, right? Week 1, he was targeted 3 times, 2 of those going for completion. Week 2, he's only targeted once, went for 3 yards. Week 3, this is back in 2020. We're not even talking about 2021 or 2022. I got the grades, but here we go. Week 3, no one wants to do, like I said, who has the time and bandwidth to do all this, by the way? Nobody, as Jim Harbaugh would say. All right. So anyways, people are trying to challenge me on this. They're crickets now. They're like, oh, yeah, you're really great. Here we go. And not just Budda Baker. We're going to compare the analytics from Budda Baker to Minkah Fitzpatrick to Derwin James because I got grades. Justin Simmons, let's go. Let's hear it. Just within the AFC West, Tyrann Mathieu when he was with the Chiefs, now with the New Orleans Saints. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Eagles, now with who? Detroit Lions. Anyways, here we go. All right. Before that was with Saints. All right. Check this out. Check this out, guys. All right. Let's check this out. In 2020, he was targeted 38 times, 23 of those going for completions for a total of 287 passing yards. He only gave up 287 passing yards, which isn't much, right? But you want to work at the landscape of around the efficiency rate when it comes to the single high safety or the strong safety, right? Because you have to have, again, talked with Randy Miller here in the DOB. We have to be interchangeable now in today's pass happy NFL. He gave up 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for a quarterback passer rating of 97.2. 97.2 is not good. Would you agree? Out of those 38 targets and 23 of those completions, 8 of them went down for first down. All right. So 8 of those 23 went for first down. So that's a 33% success rate of every time that he's targeted, it goes for MTC, right? So move the chain rate, right? That we talk about my grading system. All right. So here we go. He does also have whiffs in coverage because in open space, he always uses his head as the hammer. And sometimes he whiffs and misses. That's 10 missed tackles in the grading system just off the pass. We already talked about the run. He had an extra 10 off the pass. That is not the Raider way. All right, that is not the Raider way. And he gave up 4 touchdowns, as I said, week 3, week 7, week 11, and week 16. All right, so this is my grades on him. He graded overall as a all-pro player, first-team all-pro level player. In fact, he got my vote since I have year-end voting rights for the Pro Football Writers Association. For those who don't know, now you know. So that's why I take these grades very seriously, because I get the ballot at the end of the year and I have a vote. I'm not just going to be a box score reader. And this is what I got from him, all right? This is my analysis on him and why I voted him as a first-team All-Pro back in 2020. Arguably the best safety in the NFL. This is my notes. This is my scouting report. Arguably the best safety in the NFL, plays sound coverage while moving all over the field pre to post snap to help disguise coverage. Displays the range, closing speed, and fluid hips to stay stride for stride with receivers downfield. Gets the green light to roam while letting instincts take over. A true leader in the secondary, despite not having the greatest ball skills to win 50-50 balls consistently. Pierces through the running lanes with his great 4.4 speed. Has the knack to make plays at or near the line of scrimmage and run support. A hard hitter who brings the hammer that can sometimes backfire as he's overly aggressive as an edge blitzer or playing the run in blitz packages, often giving up his run rush fit integrity. Let me write this down so someone can copy me. We're not even talking about how that fits financially, because it doesn't. They only have $2.4 million in cap space, and he's going to want upwards of $19 million per year. If you watch the description box below here on YouTube, I already talked about Minkah Fitzpatrick before he got his big money contract and resetting the market, before Derwin James set the market thereafter, and Jamal Adams before that. I got you guys covered. Again, if you're going to talk about a player going to a specific team that you like or you're covering or whatever the case may be, you better know the landscape of the other 31. And you better have grades on them. Just joking. It's not their cup of tea. I get it. But it's mine. All right. So we just went through 2020. We're not even on 2021 and 2022, which is why he declined. Why am I talking about it layer by layer by layer by layer? Because as a talent evaluator, as a GM perspective, I'm not saying I'm a GM because I'm not, but I'm saying from a GM perspective, for GM Dave Ziegler's perspective, you have to look at the evaluation versus evaluation, what it's going to take to get that, what's your return on your investment, and so forth. And how's that going to affect the landscape of your roster moving forward? Because as you know, they only have $2.4 million in cap space. So how much of that has to be allocated for the draft and the rookie draft picks? Different layers here, guys. Jeremy Willis says Budda Baker is a dog. He is one of my favorite players. He's one of my favorite freaking players, man. Letting you guys know. Top 5 favorite player. But he's not a good fit for the Raider way because he's going to be asking way too much, and I don't see the valuation versus evaluation in going ahead and getting that guy. Now, remember, I said first team all pros don't grow on trees, right? All pros do not grow on trees, right? Said it with Josh Jacobs, saying it with Budda Baker. They don't grow on trees. But, again, it's the same dynamic that in building the Raider way, Patriot way, they don't pay safeties. Look, in the late 90s, okay, Drew Bledsoe days, let's look back at the late 90s, early 2000s, and on in. What do you see? They don't play their safeties. Did they play Brandon Merriweather, Pro Bowl player, right? Let's just go Eugene Wilson. Remember Eugene Wilson from Illinois? Gosh, I can't believe I'm going back, number 26. How do I know this? I got grades. Telling you guys. LQ19 says Budda is too expensive. He is. He's extremely expensive, and he's not worth, and he wants to be the highest paid safety. Look, we just went over the grades in 2020. Let's go over 2021. All right. I got grades on that too. In 2021, his all-pro status declined. He was still at an all-pro status. No, he wasn't actually. Now that I look at the grade, he was at a Pro Bowl status. He went from first team all-pro status in my grading system to just a Pro Bowler the following year. And so when I looked at this, I'm saying, okay, let's look at what he did. Again, had a lot of missed tackles versus the run. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 tackles, missed tackles versus the run. Again, when I talk about this, being overly aggressive. What about the pass? How many missed tackles do you have versus pass? Let's take a look at that. 10 missed tackles against the pass. So you're looking at 25 missed tackles on the season. That's not very good. You'll probably leave the team in missed tackles when given the opportunity. And he gave up 3 touchdowns again. Targeted 27 times in my grading system, 17 of those going for completion for 276 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 2 pass breakups for a quarterback passer rating of 94.6. Not a far cry from what he had in 2020, right? So if you're looking to be the highest paid safety, you better be a Troy Polamalu to where you can be a traditional box safety, but you're not going to give up a 90-plus passer rating in coverage. Now let's look at 2022. I got the grades. Goldtail says, seems like he wants the money and not the ring, so we probably can get him. Wow. Egalitarian says, what's up, Ryan? What's going on? Who's Ryan? I'm Beast. Just joking. JP Ibo Didio says, the Cardinal don't deserve him. Oh, D-Menace, my guy says, sub to Beast. Go follow me on YouTube. Holla at your boy, being here for all these giveaways, right? Jer Stokes says, I think Baker of Merrick will be fired and he will help Merrick. Here's the question with that, with evaluation versus evaluation. They just signed Marcus Epps. Marcus Epps would not sign with the Las Vegas Raiders if he didn't know he was starting. Who's saying that? This beat writer, this insider. Now let me write this down. So what does that leave Trevon Merrick, who is on the fence on whether or not they want to extend him or not want to extend him? What does that leave Isaiah Pola-Mao, who's the most significant growth for an NFL player is from year 1 to year 2, coming in as an undrafted rookie free agent last year? What is the domino effect on the roster as you look at the landscape around the entire NFL and how those players match up, and if they're a scheme fit in your system and what it would take to get those players? I mean, you have to look at this, right? Who are the top safeties in the NFL, right? You can look at the San Francisco 49ers. They have Talanoa Hufanga, right? Got my first team All-Pro vote for PFWA, right? You got Justin Simmons for the Denver Broncos. You got Derwin James, right? A strong safety for the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's just go down the list. It's not that far. There's only a handful of them. You got Jesse Bates, who's been one of the most underrated players for the Cincinnati Bengals. Got paid, single high free safety, right? Now with Atlanta Falcons and GM Terry Fontenot went ahead and made a play for him. You look at the highest paid safeties in today's NFL, and you can tell me, based on my grading system, Budda Baker, would I pay him as the highest paid safety in the NFL? No. Why? Because Minkah Fitzpatrick is my highest rated safety in the entire NFL. If you want to see my analysis on Minkah Fitzpatrick in real time, check the Beast receipt below in the description box here on YouTube. Can't say I said it. Can't say I didn't say it. It's all there for you, timestamped and everything. Social media, that's the way it works. Way better than Jamal Adams. Way better than Harrison Smith. Way better than, like I said, Justin Simmons. But he's not the highest paid. And again, the value of that position you can find in the draft. Not saying that Budda Baker grow on trees, bro. But I'm just saying, for $19 million plus a year, I'm going to say thanks, but no thanks. He's not a Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott, if you guys remember Ronnie Lott, played for the Niners, played arguably the best defensive back in the NFL history. Arguably, right? Why? Because he was an all-pro cornerback, boundary cornerback, all-pro safety, all-pro strong safety. So he can do all those different things and did it at a very high level. Did it the best of the best, cream of the crop, first team all-pro. I would pay Ronnie Lott $19 million APY, but not Budda Baker. And Ronnie Lott, you know what you're getting with Ronnie Lott. He's not going to have missed tackles. He's going to blow you up and leave you crying home. Daniel Ken says, we can get him, Epps, Baker, and Merrick. All right, so we're talking about this. Does it make sense? All right, so Budda Baker, 5'10", 195, 2017 second round pick after number 36 overall, which is why he wore jersey. I think he wore jersey number 36 and then switched to 32, right? And then switched to 3, something like that. Anyways, 2-time first team All-Pro, 1-time second team All-Pro. So again, he signed a 4-year, $59 million contract valued at $14.7 million APY, making him the highest paid safety at the time before Minkah Fitzpatrick, Derwin James reset the market and shortly thereafter. But he's currently the 7th highest paid tight end safety. But he's a traditional box safety, right? He's a traditional box safety. That's what I see. But you can kind of disguise him because he has the range to cover. He has the range to cover on the back end, but will he get you more than 5 interceptions in any given season? Is he an Ed Reed type? I mean, that's the type of money you would give 19 million APY to. So the production really, really declined from 2020 to 2022. Let's take a look at 2022, right? Pass coverage alone, all right? Again, only targeted 30 times, 22 of those going for completion for 279 passing yards, gave up 3 touchdowns, had 1 interception for a quarterback passer rating of 121.4. Now, he had 3 interceptions total, but just for transparency purposes, graded from weeks 1 to 14, which left only 3 games left in the year. So if you look at that sample of body work through the first 14 weeks, not a good sample size, a very good sample size to pull from. He kind of came on late, but, you know, and he gets injured. Right? If you watch Hard Knocks, he was injured a lot. But he has heart. He played injured. Make no complaints. I like Budda Baker, one of my favorite players. Like I said, I'm just saying he doesn't make sense for the Raiders. I hate to say it. Right? And here's some of my notes. Week 3 against the San Francisco 49ers, they were playing cover 3, and Baker sold out on a play action pass playing the run. All right, so that went for a 20-yard plus big play. Did it against cover 2 against George Kittle again. And then week 9, 2 weeks prior to that, against Travis Homer coming out of flag in cover 3, also gave up a 20-yard big play. Played Tampa cover 2 in week 5, gave up another 20-yard big play. All right, so again, when you look at, and his grades went from 7 point whatever it was, let me look at the grades, all right? And then, again, this is Budda Baker. We can compare all the top safeties. I got grades on them. Right? Let me just go ahead and talk about that. Budda Baker, 2020, 7.7 out of a 10. That is a first-team all-pro level. 2021, his grade dipped from 7.7 to 7.1. That's a 0.6 differential, which is a huge dip in my grading system, but still Pro Bowl level. In 2022, it went from 7.1 to 6.7, which is a Pro Bowl level. So you're seeing the decline there. And now he wants to be the highest paid safety in the NFL. I get it. I love Budda Baker. I wouldn't mind Budda Baker. Don't get me wrong, because that's a huge upgrade at safety. Not gonna say her lie. You're getting a first team all pro. But what I am saying is it doesn't make financial sense. Short and long term. We look at instant gratification versus long term gains. Raider Room says thoughts on Patrick Green potentially being available beast. I ain't like it. I don't like it based on the grading system. They have Robert Spillane there. Talked about it with Luke Masterson. They're really high on him. Really talked about that yesterday on yesterday's live stream. But yeah, I don't think, look, GM Eric DeCosta is top 5 GM in my rankings. There's no reason for him to just wipe his hands clean of a first round pick that came out of LSU and who he thought was going to be a chess piece, BPA. If you look, he goes BPA, got Tyler Linderbaum most recently. I don't see that being a good pickup for the Las Vegas Raiders because they're still very high on Devon Diablo. Just see what I had to say. My conversations with Coach Graham during the pressers over at Raiders headquarters. Again, it's all this is on YouTube. Can't say I said it. Can't say I didn't say it. Look what I had to say about that. And that's when Coach Graham said I asked the best questions. So there you have it. Now watch them get Patrick Queen. Raider 50 says trade Jacobs for Baker and draft the UCLA running back. Ooh. I don't think that'd be a smart move. My guy Javi Ramirez says, we went through this with Abraham. Obviously, Baker a better talent, but I'd prefer coverage guys instead. There you go. And to be honest with you, I wasn't very impressed with Jonathan Abram. Like, he was just kind of like that guy that's just kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. People in the media know. He kind of just says stuff. The Raider Room says Renfro makes the most sense to include in a trade offer. Would Renfro fit with the Arizona Cardinals based on what they have? Again, because there's a lot of moving parts here, right? Who did they draft in the second round, right? Rondale Moore out of Purdue, right? Speed slot guy, right? Return ability, talked about him in real time to hindsight. So what are you going to do with him? New regime is in place, so Monty Ossenfort is going to cut his hands clean. They already did with Andy Isabella, another 4-3 guy, burner out of UMass. Again, if you're going to talk about the team you're covering, know the landscape of the other 31. Has to make sense. It has to make sense. But yeah, Renfro included in any trade discussions. It has to make sense for the other team too. We can't just. I think I see too many people trying to plug and play without knowing the landscape of the other 31. It's like, nah, that's not a real fit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Crazy. If you like what I have to say, there's 36 of you guys watching. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you guys like to donate in the channel, you guys can do that here on YouTube with a super chat and super sticker. We are 30 minutes and 43 seconds in on this Friday. Friday, believe it or not. Who stays in on a Friday? By the way, my friend Jason is visiting here from the Bay Area. He knows I work hard. He's on the strip right now over at Caesars visiting. And I say, hey man, I got to get to my DOB family, man. I got work to do. I got to talk about Budda Baker, one of my favorite players. He starts laughing. He says, do you ever take a day off? I said, from all the years you've known me, and I've known him since high school, ever take a day off? Nope. I wouldn't be where I am today if I did. Let me write this down. Mark Martinez says, that's why I love your show. Always keep it real, not wasting my time. Yeah, I don't like wasting people's time. Like, my time is valuable. I value my time just as much as I value yours. So if I'm not reporting it, if I'm not even sniffing it, it's a non-issue, bro. More times than not. That's why I don't do it, because I don't. Look, I bodybuild too. I work out 4 hours a day on top of my 9 to 5. I also personal train and online coach. That's a second job I have. Have a clothing line, Bay Area rooted. So we do all kinds of stuff, man. Like, I don't have time to play games, bro. If it's not coming from a beat writer, like, I mean, because we work there. So it's just like, if it's not, it's really, really, it's a tough. Now, I'm not saying beat writers get all the information. No, everybody can have an opinion. You don't have to be there, like, duh. But more times than not, I didn't see any beat writer put this out there. I'll just leave it at that. Oh, man. I watched the tape, man. I watched the film. I watched the tape. I take it seriously. That's why when I run my grades, when there's opponents, that's what you guys all love. My locker room pulse interviews. Look, Coach McDaniels was laughing when I talked about Jeffrey Simmons. I talked to him about him on a Monday, bro. Like, I talked about this dude on a Monday. And he's like, oh, man. Like, I wasn't prepared for that question. You got to be on your toes when you're talking to Beast. Joking. I love Coach McDaniels, but I threw a curveball in there. He's like, oh, wow. You thought we were talking about the previous game. I'm like, no, man, we're already on the next week. I'm already watching the film. I graded Jeffrey Simmons over the last 3 years. See what I had to say on Twitter. Check the Beast receipts. The nation don't know. You guys don't know. The new nation, they don't know what I bring to the table. That's why I check the receipts. Like I said, I toot my own horn because I have to. I have to prove to you guys I know what I'm talking about. If I didn't know what I was talking about, I'm wasting 33 minutes and 34 seconds of your time right now in real time. Anybody can talk crap in hindsight. Anybody can be a triple F, a flip flop, or fake. We keep it 100 in here. And I got the grades. That's how I have a strong conviction about what's going to happen in the draft. Who these teams are going to draft. Why they're going to be targeting some of these guys. How come some of these guys aren't coming in for pre-draft visits? Why? There's always a why behind the reasoning, right? What's the rhyme behind the reasoning, right? We're going to talk about this. We always talk about this. It has to make sense. And anybody can push any narrative they want. I saw this thing on ESPN from the gym. Dan Orlovsky saying, oh, man, Anthony Richardson. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Kevin Lurkin says, you can stop after you said 19 million. Bro, can I just have 1 million? Jan Paul Eberdillo says safety isn't viewed as a premium position. By the way, JP is an Arizona Cardinals fan. See, we have fans all over. Why? Because fantasy football plays a role, and so does betting. It doesn't matter if you like me or not. If you like the color green, this flavor's for you. My guy Paul Edward de Dios already knows, man. Like, it's not a premium position, right? We talked about it here in the DOB. Talked about it with my guy Randy Miller. You can't be a one-trick pony these days. You can't be a traditional box safety like a Steve Atwater or like even like a Bob Sanders from the Indianapolis Colts, right? In the 2000s. You can no longer be a traditional box safety. Why? Because you'll get exposed in coverage because a lot of offenses now are using a lot of fuga that we talk about in my grading system. F up the gray area. They throw a little eye candy, and then you get caught peeking, and then you get turned around because you don't know what's going on behind you because you don't have eyes behind you. But yet, if you're not getting or dropping back deep enough in your spot depth coverage that I talk about as a underneath defender, you're going to get window shopped. Oh my goodness. Egalitarian says, I don't think Daisy Ziegler should sign Budda Baker. Budda Baker cannot cover. There you go. The grades don't lie. Now watch people try to say, oh yeah, like he can't cover now. Like, let me write this down. You heard it here first in the DOB because I got the grades. Anybody can say that, but where's the grades? What does the grades tell you? Grade the snap, not the box score. Graded every single snap of Budda Baker that I got my hands on. I'm just saying. So when I come on, I have a strong conviction about what I'm talking about. I love Budda Baker. Top 5 favorite player in the NFL. He's one of my top 5 favorite. So for me to say no to Budda Baker because of the evaluation versus evaluation, that says something. And I'm just keeping it 100 with you guys. Mark Martinez says, better spend that money on JJ than on Baker. I agree. Daniel Kidd's father time is undefeated. Daniel Ken says, agree with the chat. Pay JJ before signing Baker. How mad would Josh Jacobs be if they opted to go after a guy at a non-premium position like safety, because running back's not a non-premium position, and they went out and paid $19 million APY for a safety when Josh Jacobs only wants $15 million APY, which is a difference of $4 million that I talked about in the evaluation versus evaluation on why there's going to be a contract snag in the franchise tag. Talked about it before it happened. Check the beast receipt. Oh my gosh. LQ19, too many needs on defense. It's better to draft Jamie Robbins here from my other analysis. He tackles well and possibly available in 3rd or 4th round. Yeah, and he came in for a pre-draft visit here at Raiders headquarters. Saw him as I was leaving my house. I'm joking. That'd be crazy though, huh? If I saw him at, oh, that's Jamie. Let me just be a paparazzi. By the way, I wouldn't do that. When I lived right across the street from Levi Stadium, crazy how I live right across the street, like literally right down the street. I talked about the Quentin Williams. If you guys didn't miss my Quentin Williams interview at the Pro Bowl, he can tell he's like, well, how'd you know all this? How'd you know I went to IHOP? By the way, that IHOP on Great America Parkway no longer exists. The Raid Room says, maybe not Arizona, but Renfro makes sense to trade. I'll be so disappointed if JJ is gone by draft day. Oh, I would be disappointed too. Space Chimp is in the house. Is excited to see Farrell and Butler. Do you see them in the building grinding, Beast? I do not, because we're not there. Like, media has been working from home because off-season activities have not started yet. I think they start next week. So we get one time, I think we get one time to talk to Coach McDaniels and Dave Ziegler or whoever, and before the draft happens, 2 weeks prior to the draft. And then obviously things will start picking up and I'll be there every single day. But it's almost like I'm there anyways. I just live right down the street. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome just to live down the street from Raiders headquarters, I'm telling you. Jeremy Lewis says, more cost-effective to draft Brian Branch. Yeah, but I will say this. I will say Brian Branch doesn't have that 4.3 speed that I saw it talked about on film. That I talked about on Brian Branch. If you missed my Brian Branch take, again, check the Beast receipts before he came in for a pre-draft. I mean, I talked about Brian Branch. I'm a huge Roll Tide Roll fan. I'll just be 100. Brian Branch is not will know. I shouldn't say never. I don't like using that because that's kind of unfair to Brian Branch. I don't see, but here. I mean, I'll just keep 100 with you guys. I don't think that Brian Branch will ever see. I shouldn't say ever because that's kind of effed up. It's hard for me to see that Brian Branch can attain the NFL trait skill set that Budda Baker has. And that comes a lot with speed. Javier Ramirez says, we don't need Baker. I really don't see this team being a playoff one. We just need to nail this draft and get building blocks to get a deep core for 24. I agree with you. Very good. Jer says, Isaiah, pull him out. I think it could start this year. My guy, Isaiah, if you're watching, what'd I tell you, bro? Isaiah's my boy. That's my boy. He's also Troy Polamalu's cousin. All right. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense to get Budda Baker. But I have to talk about it because people are like, oh, we should get Budda Baker. I'm like, okay. And what would it take to get Budda Baker? Would it be a first-round pick? Everyone's thinking first-round pick. But if you look at the dynamic of safeties, especially a guy who's now entering what? He came out in 2017. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. He's entering his 7th season, right? He's only 27 years old, but still entering his 7th season. Gets hurt a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave up a 2 for him. Now, anybody who gives up a 2 for him, but oh man, that's all they gave up for him was a 2. No, that's a bad way of thinking it. Why? Because what's the valuation versus evaluation? Right? How much is he going to cost on the books? This is the accounting side. This is my business degree side. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go ahead and talk about that. You want to talk about the beast receipts, accounts payable and account receivable. Let's go. Front loaded, back loaded, restructuring contracts. Now you're freaking setting yourself up for salary cap hell, not salary cap health that we talked about here in the DLB. Come on, man. Again, there's different layers to this. If I ain't reporting it, odds are it's not going to happen. And it's a non-issue. That's why I say, man, but I wanted to come on because, again, I have to prove to the nation. Now watch Budda Baker get signed as we speak right now, Budda Baker. And I would love it. I would love Budda Baker to come here, but not at 19 million APY. Not at a reduced salary. What he's getting, 14.75 million APY right now? Sure. Hands on. Yes, let's do it. Give me Budda Baker today. But at 5 million more on a new contract, new money deal, not liking it. There's 41 of you guys watching it. If you guys like what I have to say, give this video a thumbs up. Look, I like talking about the silver and black. I love talking about the Raider Nation here on this Friday. I could be out with my friend Jason right now at Caesar's Palace. I decided I could be doing a hangover rendezvous. Oh my gosh. The hangover is so hilarious. Every time I think of Caesar's Palace, I think of the hangover. Every time I buy Alan's hilarious. Oh, we're blood brothers. Oh, man. Also, if you'd like to donate, you guys can do that on YouTube. Just send me a super chat, super sticker. It really means a lot. We are 42 minutes and 42 seconds in right now into this live stream. So if you're just joining us right now, welcome. Be sure to tell all your family and friends about the DOB. How do you do that? Share the video. Everybody is on social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, doesn't matter. Instagram stories, right? You can send a link. Bam. Check out this guy, BEASTwriter. He knows his shit, right? If you want to know the future, you're going to want to follow me. Daniel Kim says, listen to some stuff today. You're right when you say the draft starts at the 3rd pick. See, told you. Anyway, the draft falls, that AZ pick is going to be crazy. It is. And like I said yesterday, just like I said before, Ian Rapshi and all the national media put it out there. Check what I said on Twitter. 3 days prior to them shopping the pick, I said, write this down. GM Ryan Poles of the Chicago Bears is going to be trading number 1. How do I know that? See what I had to say about Ryan Poles when he was named GM, taking over from Ryan Pace over the Chicago Bears. Again, if you're going to talk about one team, you need the landscape of the other 31. You have to. At least that's how I do it. Because there's no drop-off in production now. Oh, who is Budda Baker? Guarantee you guys all, not you, but I guarantee people who cover the team will be, or don't cover the team, whatever, content, whatever, Googling stuff, right? It's like, no, you have to go to the film. What do you see on film? Because everybody can do the same thing. Everybody can do the same thing. Now, I'll be honest. Am I good with the whole, like, staying up to date on the like the Instagram and stuff? No. You know who does a really good job at that? Raider Way, Raider Room, Raider Rain. So follow them. They do a really good job. Jean-Paul Edward de Dios. It's just not everyone's cup of tea, right? No one has the bandwidth to do what I do. Let's just put it 100, right? No one has time to watch 60 to 75 hours of film a week on top of exactly what I do, right? On top of what I do, bodybuilding, all that in between. How it relates to football and fitness. That's why I have the DOB right here. Dark Side of BEASTwriter, football and fitness. That's what we do. Jan Paul Evers, do you think the Texans draft a non-quarterback? Talked about that yesterday. That could be a definitely an answer because D'Amico Ryans loves his Leos, right? Covered D'Amico Ryans with the San Francisco. I know what D'Amico Ryans likes. He likes Will Anderson. Now, people are thinking CJ Stroud. If I was a betting man today, I'd say they'd take Will Anderson, which means the market for the number 3 overall pick is going to go up. And the Raiders, write this down. Write this down. I already talked about it on January 11th or January 19th. They're either going to trade up to number 3 with Monty Austin from the Arizona Cardinals, or they're going to trade back into that cluster from 10 to 18. All right? Write this down. But they're not going to make a pick at 7. They will not make a pick at 7. Write that down. Saying this on April 14th, 2023. Write this down so people can copy it and then pass it off as their own. Salvatore Bruno says, are you having a Beast draft party starting April 27th? I used to do those, right? When COVID hit, we weren't allowed to be at headquarters. When I was with the Niners, we're not allowed to be there. So I had to do it at home, and I could do a draft party at home. This year, obviously, last year was actually new, right? We got into the locker room. So this year, I'll be at Raiders headquarters doing my draft party at Raiders headquarters. So no, to be honest with you, there won't be a draft party, but I will be doing live streams if time allows. Because again, at Raiders headquarters, I'm going to be there as the draft unfolds, right? So I'm going to give you guys the lowdown. Once the players get drafted, I'm going to be interviewing these players, right, on a conference call. Right, all the beat writers, there's only a handful of us get to interview the player once they get drafted. You guys know how the format works with the 49ers, similar format as what I've been told. This is my first time covering the Raiders draft. No, I cover draft officially at Raiders headquarters, right? So last year I did it remotely because I was in transition moving from Bay Area to Vegas. So you guys can kind of just know the headache that was going on there, but living out of a duffel bag. But this year, I'll be at Raiders headquarters and be interviewing the players. So it's really, really cool. And I'll be posting those up on YouTube, talking about it in my Aloha kickoff video straight from Raiders headquarters. So people can pass it off as their own, and then they can write that down. Jeremy Willis says, Isaiah Polamalu is going to be a beast. Jan Paul Eber says, I wonder if producers tell those guys what to say. Probably. No, I don't know. I want to say that. Jan Power says second round picks are high value picks, less perceived potential, but could be real productive. Budda was a second round pick. I think he was an all pro. I'll take it. Yep. Drafted number 36 overall out of Washington. Daniel Kim says we can't make any more cap errors. Got to spend the right money on the right people. All right, so we're 48 minutes and 11 seconds in. If you guys like what I have to say, give this video a thumbs up. It really pushes the algorithm to other like-minded nation like yourselves to kind of help out me, right? Help out the DOB family. Once you're in here and subscribe to the channel, you're part of the family. That's the vibes that I want to bring here, right? Again, I want everyone to have a voice here. I learn just as much from you as you guys do from me. Hopefully that's the give and take here, right? Because again, I want this to be a very learning, educational platform to where everybody can feel safe saying what they have to say. We can disagree on a lot of things as long as you're respectful and to the point, right? Like you're not rambling. I mean, sometimes, look, some people are just rambling, and then they get all defensive. It's like, oh my gosh, man, I'm just gonna cut you out. Boom. Like, I don't have time for that. It's bad vibes. And oh, you're wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. You're telling me how. Okay, now you're telling me how to do my job. You should say I disagree. I respectfully disagree. Jer Stokes says Devin Witherspoon. By the way, I would rarely am I wrong. Devin Witherspoon. In taking at 7, match him up with Mary Polamalu, Nate Hawes, Beast. What do you think, bro? I like Devin Witherspoon. Again, I don't think they're going to be making a pick at 7. I think they're going to be trading up for a quarterback or trading down into that cluster we talked about for those cluster of players that I discussed. Guillermo Quintanilla says, Beast, does draft day 2 and 3 excite you as much as day 1? It actually excites me more on days 2 and day 3, because that's where all these good valued players are going to start falling down the board, because every freaking round these GMs reach for need, diminishing the value of the pick for a number of different reasons. One, they could be on the hot seat, so they need to make a run on a quarterback. Number 2, they need to fill these needs because they didn't have the money in free agency to make a run in free agency. And 3, they know the value of the draft, but they understand that they might have to maneuver the board and get more aggressive because they're on the hot seat. They might not be there next year, and they're just making the next GM's picks anyways. A lot of different layers there. So I'm very, very interested, and not so much day 1 as I am day 2 and 3. I think that's where you win the draft. Not so much in day 1, you have to get it right. That's where all the hype is. That's where all the headlines are going. But for me, the draft is always made on days 2 and day 3. Because let's be honest about this. If you reach for need, people are going to call you out on it in real time to hindsight. And people in hindsight are always flip-flopper fakes anyways. But more times than not, if you're picking inside the top 10, usually 6 out of those 10 picks are going to be good picks. There's always those 4 teams that kind of shoot the bed. Dan Kim's on salary cap issue tells me that we're going to be really moving up and down the draft board and getting the most impactful players in at least amount of necessary picks. Definitely not drafting 12. Yep. You're not drafting 12. Talked about it yesterday. Here's another one that you guys are going to write down. The Raiders are going to move up in the tail end of the first round in that 28 to 32 selection and select a player there. So they're going to have 2 first-round draft picks on day 1 when it's all said and done. 2 rookies will be day 1 picks for the Las Vegas Raiders. Write that down. You heard it here first in the DOB. Give me credit if someone else says it, and call them out when they don't. Daniel Kim, he says, thank you so much. He's Friday Night Lights, friend, fun. Not much, but buy a drink for your homie from the Bay. Oh, man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Friday Night Lights, I like that. I like Friday Night Lights. That should be the name. Should it be 4th and Goal or Friday Night Lights? What do you want the Friday show? I'll leave it up to you. I'll put it up on the community page on YouTube. You guys are going to determine the winner. Do you guys want 4th and Goal for the Friday segment, or do you like Friday Night Lights? I think Friday Night Lights reminds me of high school, the high school days, right? But Friday Night Lights sounds cool because it's Friday. Thank you so much for the super chat, though. I appreciate it. We are 52 minutes and 20 seconds in. If you like what I have to say on this live stream as it regards to Budda Baker, the valuation for evaluation, we're running the grades from 2020 to 2022, and then why it doesn't make sense for the Raiders to go after him based on his $19 million cap request number APY, because he wants to be the highest paid NFL safety, and why it doesn't make sense because it's a non-premium position and that money could be allocated, like you said, good point, to Josh Jacobs. Pay him first. Let's do that. Let's pay Josh Jacobs first. Oh, Jan Paul Edward Didio says, are you going to do curls like last time? Yeah, if you guys don't know the watch party, how I formulated it, it was really, Jan, I almost threw up on camera, bro, because like I was like, okay, every pick I get right, I'm gonna have a slice of pizza in one hand. Brought a whole large pizza to myself. For those who don't know, I was eating pizza in one hand, curling with the other hand for every pick I got right, doing 5 curls per each correct pick. After the first 8 I was gassed. I was like, I can't eat pizza and curl up. It was ridiculous. JP Edward did it because I was getting them all right. Check the beast receipts. He says, do squats. Oh man. I hit squats today, hit leg day today. You know, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. James Cho says, will you be helping out the Raider scout team during the draft? I will not be helping them out. They have their own guys that do a good job there. So I'll leave that to them. But if they want my input, sure, I will help out in any way I can. Mark Martinez says, I got the receipt moving up, not picking 7. Yep. Moving up and trading back into that cluster, but they're not going to make a pick at 7. Jer Stokes V says, hit that like button for my guy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Really, really appreciate the the feedback. And again, there's 45 of you guys watching here. That's a lot of people for here in the DOB. That means we are growing. That means people, maybe they're not liking it. Maybe they're watching on Facebook, whatever the case may be, and they're not here on YouTube, which is fine. Kind of not, because you won't be entered for our BEASTwriter family giveaways that we do every Friday. So again, you're going to want to subscribe to the channel and engage with me on the platform. And again, we do this because it's a thank you to you. I like doing it because it's a thank you to all my DOB family. Once you're in here, you're family. It's all about good vibes only. Anybody who's bad vibes, we kick them out. And there's no one like that. We haven't kicked out one person yet. And it's all good vibes. Jeremy, so follow me on YouTube. Everyone, if you're on YouTube TV, or if you have a Gmail account, you can open up a YouTube. Just type in your Gmail and boom, you're good. And then subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notifications. Oh, man. Jeremy West says, Beast, can Drew Sanders cover Travis Kelce? That's a great question. I don't know. Can anyone cover Travis Kelce? Jeez Louise. That is a tough one. That is a tough one. Arkham Ready says, salute Beast and Raider Nation. I can see the Ziegler trading back from 7, getting 2 second-round picks. I think he could trade back. I don't think he'll do that. I don't think he'll trade back for 7 and get 2 second-round picks. I think he'll trade back from 7. If he's going to trade back, he's not going to pick at 7 and go into that cluster that I talked about. Because in that cluster, again, talked about on January 11th and January 19th, the first to say it here in the DOB. And I'm just putting it out there. Like, look, I have to prove my worth, right? So if it happens and it goes down, you guys heard it here first, right? Everyone else is behind the 8 ball. But there's a reason why I said that, because the cluster of players that will be available based on the teams that are drafting behind, based on my analytics and running these grades on all 32 NFL GMs and their tendencies and biases, tells me something, right? So that's why I said they're going to trade back into that cluster, get another first-round pick, and possibly get another second-rounder, right? And then they're going to catapult that ammo that they have to move back up the tail end in the 28th to 32nd spot. Why those draft positions that I just pointed out? Why 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32? Why the last 5? I will go ahead and break that down later. There's a rhyme behind the reasoning. But you heard it here first in the DOB. So if anyone says it, call them out. No, man, BEASTwriter said that first. I know you were watching. I knew you were in the 44 watching on Friday night. Tian Gang says, will you soon do a mock draft soon? No, I am waiting for this because I want others to put theirs up first. So I don't want people copying me. So I'm waiting for other people to put theirs out first, and now I'm gonna put out the Beast receipt on that. Because everybody, I've been told people are waiting for mine, and then they're just gonna copy it. No, man, that's not how this game works, bro. We don't play that game. Salvatore Bruno, you watch Jimmy G as a Niner beat writer, making you the best answer to this question. What production can we expect to see from him, and how he differs from previous quarterback? He differs in a lot of different ways. One, I talked about scheme fit. Talked about it 3 live streams ago. Talked about this. Talked about how he's not going to be this Pro Bowl, all-pro quarterback, but he is a winner in the locker room. He is going to get the job done. He is a great game manager, and that's nothing to take away from Jimmy Garoppolo. Look, Bill Belichick, when he drafted Jimmy Garoppolo, knew what he was getting in Jimmy Garoppolo when he drafted him in the 2nd round. Knew he was getting a game manager, but that's what he liked about him. The same identity that Coach McDaniels is working with him as a rookie is now making its way to Raider way here. So I think Jimmy Garoppolo will possibly get, he'll probably throw for maybe 26 to 30 touchdowns, maybe throw 12, 15 interceptions, right? And have a passer rating of probably at 96.4, something like that, a really good passer rating. So he's going to be really efficient. The key to it all is having a strong offensive line in front of him. Again, we talked about the Lincoln Tomlinsons, talked about Trent Williams, talked about them going after right tackle Mike McGlinchey, right, out of Notre Dame, drafted, I believe was drafted number 9 overall, right? And then Colt Miller was shortly drafted after there. But that is why I think Peter Skoronski, no one's talking about that he can be in that cluster that I talked about as a guard, not as a tackle. Maybe they use him as a right tackle, but I don't think so, because that's a strong conversion going from the blind side left tackle to the right side. So if you see this guy as a guard, you can trade back into that cluster, still get your right guard. And now you give Jimmy Garoppolo all the ammo he needs to be successful, because we saw him how he did that with the San Francisco 49ers. Gamer Quintanilla says, Beast, how deep is this draft relative to recent years? Not deep. Not deep. I only have 16 first-round draft grades. So that means everybody from probably 20th, depending on how the draft board falls, from 20th to 32 are second round players. James Show says, what's your take on experts having such a different opinion on Will Anderson? Chris Sims has him ranked as number 5 defensive and prospect. Well, Chris Sims is wrong. Will Anderson's number 1. I think that's just, if he really believes that, keep the receipt and keep my receipt. Will Anderson is going to have a Hall of Fame, close to Hall of Fame career. He's the next Von Miller. Write this down. Best defensive player in this draft class. Covered him for Hot Mike back in 2020, 2021, and 2022. So there you go. My grades check out with Will Anderson. Stop. People need to stop. Dan Kim's out of the tape you've watched, who's the best coverage linebacker that we could draft? That is a great question because, when you look at college players, a lot of times they're taught to play a certain way. So it's really hard. And when you talk to NFL scouts who come on the show, we talk about this. You have to look at the traits. You can't really go based on my grade. Like in the NFL, I go based on my grading system. In college, you go back based on traits and how you see that and have a separate algorithm to that grading system because you don't know what they're being taught in college. All right. We're going to have my friend Andre Carter, who coached up Neil Farrell over at LSU as a D-line coach, played for the Raiders, Pro Bowl player, played for the Niners. You guys know him. He was obviously drafted number 7th overall. Oh, what a coincidence. The Niners traded up and got him. Bill Walsh, hand-selected pick, edge rusher, holla at your boy. But yeah, that's a great question. It's one of those things where you go for that particular question. I think you go more off potential than you do off what you grade on film. At least I do. Can't speak for anyone else. That's how I do it. But that is a great question. North Cal ACC, can we change gears real quick and talk about the Civil War going to happen in the nation between Warriors and Kings fans tomorrow? Should be a fun playoff series. Yeah. That's going to be crazy, right? Jay Palbert says, fix the defense, run the ball. Jimmy will manage the game for you. Where does Parham play his best? Left guard? I think so. I think he plays his best on the interior. Now, he did play, if I'm not mistaken, he did play right guard in college. So they could move him around, but I think they want to keep him on the left side, especially going into year 2. You're going to see the real progress there. I think if you moved him to right guard, that would kind of put a hamper on the left side. Now that could happen. If Peter Skoronski gets drafted, do you plug him at right guard or do you want to plug him and keep him on the left side? Because again, pass protection is key. Muscle memory is also key. So again, you can see Parham maybe being the interchangeable swing interior guard there because obviously he's going to be starting, but if you can kind of move him to the right side just to see how Skoronski does on the left, or if you want to keep him there on the left and see how Skoronski does on the right because he's never played on the right side before, then that's something you have to look forward to. But again, all these moving parts will be in training camp. I'm looking forward to it if Peter Skoronski is the pick. And again, I talked to somebody with the Raiders today. He's like, man, you keep seeing Peter Skoronski. Bro, I like Peter Skoronski. I like Peter Skoronski. Now watch him go to like the Philadelphia Eagles in replace of Isaac Seumalo. Daniel Kim says, Miller, Skoronski, James, Parham. Yep, I can see that. Beast, do you think Darnell Wright in the second round would be a solid pick? There's some people that saying, you're talking about the Tennessee offensive tackle, right? I think there's a couple. But yeah, if you're talking about the Tennessee offensive tackle, I think he's going to go in the first round. North Cal ACC, you don't have to give out the name, but have you found your favorite sleeper in the draft yet? I have. I have a few sleepers actually. And, to be honest with you, back in 2020, Amik Robinson was one of my sleepers along with Joe Bocci from Michigan State. Talked about it. His family was on the YouTube channel dropping comments and really liked what I had to say about him. But there's a few sleepers that I like. And sleepers typically in my mind are players that fall. Like I value them. Like let's say I value them in the second or third round, but they fall to the 4th or the 5th. That's where you're going to find value. There's a guy by the name of, I guess I'm being biased here, but Jose Ramirez is a good friend of mine. I'm covering him at the East-West Shrine Bowl. Got to know him very well. He is a sleeper because I think people are going to be sleeping on him and they shouldn't, right? I think another guy is Dante Stills, another good friend of mine. So Dante Stills will be another guy that I'm looking at. That would be good fits for the Raider way. So whether or not that remains to be seen, those are both two defensive front seven players that played extremely well in the East-West Shrine Bowl festivities. And of course, Jose Ramirez had the fastest 3-cone drill. So what does that say about his get off? He has it. And the dynamic there, working with Max Crosby, because both of them come from the same college, that says something, right? He could mentor him. And so got to know Jose Ramirez's on a personal level, also got to know his coaches, talked to the coaches, talked about game film with the coaches a little bit. And yeah, they were impressed with what I had to say. But yeah, I really like Jose Ramirez, and I really like Dante Stills. Jer says, Beast, if we trade back, could we get Kalijah Kancey? You guys could, but I'm not as high on Kalijah Kancey as some others. I know my guy Sanjeet, he really likes Kalijah Kancey, but I'm not as high on Kalijah Kancey as Sanjeet is. I just don't see it. I don't see the next Aaron Donald. I don't see that comparison coming out of college. I just didn't see that when running the grades. I just don't see that. Now I do like Kalijah Kancey, but that's not to say that I would rather them go after Peter Skoronski, Christian Gonzalez, somewhere in that cluster that we talked about. Nolan Smith, even. I like Nolan Smith out of Georgia, right? Even being a Roll Tide Roll fan, Nolan Smith, I told you he was going to have a hell of a pro day, and he did. Right? When you grade the snap, not the box score. So again, all these guys are in that cluster there. And again, I'm all for stockpiling more picks, because the more darts you have at the board, now you can leverage future drafts, right? You can do that. So that's all I got to say that. But no, I mean, I'm not as high in Kalijah Kancey. I like Kalijah Kancey, but I just don't see enough on film for me to warrant him an interior rusher at this point. He has a fast get off, but I think he's more of a one-gap type of a scheme-dependent player. I don't think he can play in a two-gap scheme. And let's be honest about this. There's a lot of moving parts to being scheme diverse as being scheme dependent. Why? Because if this coaching staff was to wipe their hands clean next year, right, and they have a horrible year, and Mr. Davis says, you know what, you're all fired, and a new regime comes in and they want to run a two-gap scheme, Kalijah Kancey is going to be on the outside looking in, just like the 2019 regime with Mike Mayock. So got to think about that. Kemmler says, DOB, is Nolan Smith in your 16? I understand if you don't want to say. No, he is. He is. And I put him up on my big board behind me. And then I took off the big board because people started copying my analysis and passing it off as their own, which is, so that's why you don't see the big board here anymore. Because I'm like, nah, I ain't going to do this anymore. People are too lazy to put in the work. So they just rather copy off me. Egalitarian Joe says, Beast, what are your thoughts on Keanu Benton? Do you think Daisy Douglas should draft him? To be honest with you, I still have to run grades on Keanu Benton. He's a guy that I kind of been in the works on. I'm still running grades on him. So hold off that for now. But yeah, there's 49 of you guys watching, and we are an hour and 7 minutes in. If you like what I have to say, please send me a super chat or super sticker if you'd like to donate to the channel and you like these live streams. It really does help me do my job and then helps upkeep the channel too, right? So if you guys are generous on this Friday, or if you guys can afford it, that's all good. Just give this video a thumbs up. That's just as good. So I understand money is tight. Trust me. But yeah, give this video a thumbs up. There's 49 of you guys, and that is free, right? Share the video. That is free. Talk about the DLB to all of the nation. It's the weekend. You guys going to be talking to your friends, family and friends, right? Over the weekend. Oh, I heard about this guy, Dark Side of BEASTwriter. Who's BEASTwriter? Oh, he's a beat writer for the Raiders. He's not just a guy that just hops on from, I'm hopping on from my home, but, I'm one of the beat writers, right? I'm there Monday through Friday. I'm the one asking the coaches questions. I'm the one asking the players the questions in my locker room pulse interviews and the coaches corner and so forth. So again, it's just a different dynamic and different flavor. And I run grades on all 32 NFL teams. So who doesn't like the color of green, which is money, right? If you want to make money, you're going to want to follow me because I'm going to show you the future more times than not. Egalitarian Chua says, Beast, what are your thoughts on Siaka Ika? Do you think he would be a good fit for Patrick Graham's defense? Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think they're really high on Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler. I keep talking about this, and I know they're high on Neil Farrell for a fact. So that's why when I say, I spoke to somebody yesterday about this. If Jalen Carter's sitting there at 7, would I be surprised if they pass on Jalen Carter? No, why? Because they're high on Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler. So why? And you know this time is going to come because the Raiders always do something crazy. All right, they always do something crazy. We know. You don't have to be a Raider fan to know that. So if they're sitting there at 7, everyone's like thinking not Andre Carter, Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter at 7. Jalen Carter at 7. Jalen Carter at 7. He's there. He's there. The Seahawks passed on him. Oh my gosh. But to be honest with you, don't you think the Seahawks would pass on him even though he came in for a pre-draft visit? Why? Because we talked about Draymond Jones in my grading system. We talked about Jaron Reed. We talked about all these other moving parts that they already have, right? And again, coming from the GM John Schneider tree and how he likes to run things, just look at what Scott Fitter is doing with the Carolina Panthers. Look at what Dodge is doing, right? You have to look at the dynamics of how their organization is being ran in order to form an analysis that, hey, Jalen Carter is going to go at number 5, which is a huge possibility, but I think they're going to go in a different direction. I think they're going to go Tyree Wilson, the Texas Tech product. Kevin Lurker, thank you so much for the super chat and super sticker. I appreciate it, my guy. It means a lot. It really does, man. And it makes making these worthwhile, doing these live streams for all of you guys, because again, at the end of the day, it's like, man, like it's Friday. I could be just chilling out. I could be chilling right now. Like I don't have to be on here, but I love doing it. That's why I'm on it. So, I mean, these super chat and super stickers help out. And just as good, man, give this video a thumbs up, man. That's free. Like that's all I'm asking. If you give this video a thumbs up, we are 1 hour and 10 minutes in and 45 seconds. So if you guys are watching this, give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment. And again, the most important thing that you guys can do is spread the word about the DOB and about the BEASTwriter here on YouTube and all the other social media platforms that you guys are on. Just look up BEASTwriter and I will pop up. So it doesn't matter what social media platform you're watching this on right now. It would be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. At BEASTwriter, right? Just type in BEASTwriter. You guys can find me. I'm not that hard to find. There's only one Beast. Although people try to beat me and catfish me, Niner fans know all about that. Oh my gosh, man! It happened so many times, and I'm pretty sure the nation, someone in the nation is gonna try to be me and pretend to be me. It's not me, bro. Like you can tell. Babe, just look at my tattoos, all right? Like, all right. I have a food dog tattoo here. I have my fraternity tattoo here, right? With a lantern. It has my last name tatted on my back right here, Sakamoto. So, hey man, though I literally made a video on how to spot me because people were trying to pretend to be me, and it got ridiculous. It got out of control. So that's why the blue check mark does not mean anything anymore. Like I don't care about the blue check mark. You can unverify me all you want. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything. People just pay for it, and they pay to play. To each their own, I guess, but it kind of meant something because it protected our privacy. But now it's like everything's fair game. For $14.99, you can be Instagram verified and Facebook verified. And what is it for Twitter now? You to be on Twitter Blue, you can be. Oh my gosh. Dark says, but thanks so much, Kevin. I appreciate it. It was me who you were talking about, Carter. Okay, see, there you go. Daniel Kim says, Farrell and Butler put in the work this offseason to reveal themselves the way the team asked them to. DB Cooper says, another great show. Thank you so much for hopping in, DB Cooper. I know you're new to the DOB or one of the new, because I respond to every single comment. Even if you're watching this on a replay, I always get back to my comments. Always. If I'm at the gym in between sets, I'm always on my phone. Why? Because I like talking to you guys. I'm not one of those people who just like, oh, I'm cool because I'm a beat writer at the Raiders. Like, I'm better than you. It's like, dude, like, no, man. It's not a right. It's a privilege, right? Like, you should be, it's like, I don't know. I just learned that people get on this stupid pedestal and it's really annoying. Like, even, because I remember, like, when I wasn't a beat writer, right? And I covered the 49ers, right? You kind of get aura that people feel a certain way. They feel kind of entitled, right? Like I hate that. Hate's a strong word. I strongly dislike it. Okay. So I'm not going to use hate. I strongly dislike entitled people because it's a privilege to get to where you are. It's a privilege. No matter how hard you work to get there, it's still a privilege to be there. You know what I'm saying? But people feel entitled. I trust. It's annoying. I'm not that dude. So I like engaging with all you guys, man. Honestly, Raider Dome, thank you so much. I love talking to you. And here's the thing, man. I want to open this up to a Q&A call-in show to where you guys can call in. I am in the works on that. I used to do it, but we had a lot of trolls in here before. Not with the nation, by the way, because I never did it. Oh no, I did do it with the nation. I did it throughout training camp because we got big. If you guys don't follow me for training camp, that's where I really got big. On Twitter, I blew up. Like I gained like 7,000 followers in like 2 weeks. I'm not joking. Real talk. It's because I was breaking down fundamentals, right? Because when you break down fundamentals in one-on-one drills, it's not simply, oh, this guy beat this guy. No, man, this guy used an inside rip move, then he used a spin move to kind of use the momentum, push him back the other way, and beeline to the quarterback, right? So I'm going to describe that on Twitter for you. And it's fundamentals. It's not talking scheme. So it's everything's fair game there. When you talk fundamentals and you talk it on football layman terms, but then easy enough for you guys to understand it, you guys are going to know exactly what's going on as if you were there. And that's the kind of feedback that the nation has provided me. So if you guys wanted to know, like, who was that guy that was posting the one-on-one drills? That was me in training camp. That was me. And that's that. If you guys are on Bleacher Report, that's the thing that was all popping up. It was keeping that hot for you guys. And then some people got upset. They're like, oh, you're talking about scheme. I was like, nah, man, that's called one-on-one, dude. That's called fundamental, dude. And if you played football, you know that's freaking fundamentals, dude. Like, it's not scheme. Scheme is this for talking about a cover shell and how they like to play that cover shell. Scheme is talking, which I'm not going to name drop people, but trust me, I heard on the radio, they were like, oh, I'm not supposed to say this, but then they said it. This is what you're not supposed to do. Oh, such and such was lined up at the slot today. You're not supposed to say that. That's scheme. I'm just talking one-on-one, but if you want to talk the talk, you better walk the walk, because look at your own self, man. Don't get mad at me because I'm getting hotter in my first year covering the Raiders because of my one-on-one breakdowns. Man, crazy, man. People are always jealous, bro. Like, don't hate the player, hate the game, man. Iron sharpens iron, man. Raider way. Dark, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. We are an hour and 16 minutes in and 10 seconds. So if you guys like what I have to say, there's 42 of you guys watching. Give this video a thumbs up. I like talking to you guys. I like talking to the nation. You guys make me who I am. I wouldn't be in the position I am today without you. So again, goes back to me being a beat writer. Cool story, bro. But would I be here without you guys in my corner? Hell no. Why? Because I wouldn't have a voice if I did. If no one was following me, then it's like I'm talking to myself, like talking to a wall here. Oh, how are you doing, Beast? Oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. Oh, all right. I'm going to open it up for questions. Crickets. Man, I'm just saying. I feel like the bigger some people get, the more they feel entitled because they're already attained a certain success level. And for me, it's like the bigger I get, the more I want to give back to the DOB family. That's how I am. That's how I did with the Niners. I was a beat writer, one of the top beat writers with the Niners, right? And what I do, the bigger I got, the more I gave back. Season tickets to the games. 2, not 1, but 2. You get to take you and a spouse, you and a friend, and not nosebleed tickets. I'm talking about executive suite tickets, bro. Like, I'm talking about you live in the life if you're part of the DOB family. Why? Because I wouldn't be in the business I am without you guys, right? So I'm always going to give back. At the games, when I'm coming out of the same tunnel that the players come out over by the black hole, right? You'll see me with a gray beanie on, Evogen, long sleeve shirt, black jeans. That's my getup, right? You guys all know what I'm about. Come out of there. You guys say, oh, you get my attention. That's cool, man. So, you know, I swing some decal stickers that I have for you guys as a thank you. I mean, small token of my appreciation. These decals are expensive. They're weather resistant, water resistant. But at the end of the day, man, it's a small token of my appreciation. I mean, that's what it's all about. Look, there's a story coming out of there. I just want to share this story. So one of the followers here, he follows me, and I guess he has a family, and he took his girls to the game, and they all follow me too. I guess everyone's on social media these days. And they're like, oh, they wanted your autograph. And I was like, oh man. So he sent me a DM on Twitter. So after the game was over, I was checking my DMs and went to the other folder because we don't follow each other. And he's like, man, I came out of the black hole, but we were screaming beast. And the girls wanted your autograph. So I had the fishing line thing where players would sign, or coaches would sign, or whoever would come out would sign. We wanted you to sign this. And I was like, oh man. So I was like, oh, well, I got something better for you because, you know, it's a thank you. These guys are from Idaho, by the way. They're not even from the Bay Area. They're not from LA. They're not from Vegas, right? So I was like, oh man, I felt really bad, you know. I was like, we're screaming your name. We really want to meet you. So I was like, okay, cool. So I made a care package for him, sent it back. By the way, Kelly, your Raider helmet is coming. I haven't had a chance to get it over to you, but it's coming your way. And so I gave him a really, really cool care package, silver and black, went to the Raider Image store, bought these things myself, right? And it's just a small token of my appreciation. Gave it to the girls, had them, they liked it. They got a Raider Nation rally towel. What else did I throw in? I throw in the decal stickers, threw in some game day magazines that were really cool, that I had stashed away and that I give back. Oh, pins I gave them. So a lot of cool stuff that you otherwise couldn't find anywhere else. And they're from Idaho. When's the next time they're going to go to a Legion Stadium again? Probably never, right? The tickets are really expensive. Arkham Ready says, I found your content through the training camp videos, Beast. Great content, brother. Thank you so much, man. That's what I love. I love my favorite part of the year. Everyone wants to know, it's draft. Draft is my favorite part of the season. And it's not technically even the season. And that's because I want to prove to everyone that I know my stuff and talk about all 32 NFL teams, who they're going to pick, why they're going to pick them, who's going to do well, who's not going to do well. I got grades, not just on NFL players, but college players as well. And then on top of that, I love training camp. So it goes into training camp because I can break down the videos. How is this? What's the why behind why they're running the drills? If you guys want to see what I had to say about training camp, there is a playlist. There's a training camp playlist that I made for you guys of the videos. So if you guys want to see that, just go to YouTube and you'll see my playlist, and you guys can see my 2022 playlist of training camp. See what I had to say in real time. Everything's timestamped. See how I broke down the videos and see how that kind of translates in on game day, right? That's how you're going to see the analysis there, right? That you're going to see the peeling back layers of the onion to get to the core, as I always like to say. And that's why I think it's just different, not better, not worse. It's just different. That's just my flavor. So if you like that kind of stuff, follow me. I actually followed you after Graham's comment and your question. I was like, who's this guy? Yeah, if you guys don't know, Coach Graham literally went on record and said, because we all, us beat writers, were always on asking the coaches questions and every day because we're with them, right? We're at Raiders headquarters. So we're the beat writers, only a handful of us. We're the ones asking the questions. And I asked the question on Divine Diablo, and I kind of just took it a step further. And before he answers, like, man, no offense to anyone else, but you asked the best questions. And no bigger compliment from a coach than getting that. And I got that from Chip Kelly too, when he was with the Niners. Jim Harbaugh really likes my questions. So Kyle Shanahan, I've been told, likes my questions. So very football X's and O's, if you will. And I like to see it from a different lens because, again, when you watch that much game film, you better know what you're talking about. And it just brings a fresh perspective. But again, if you're watching game film, you also have to know what to look for in order to formulate that question that you're going to be asking the following day. So it's funny. A lot of people were wondering who I was because it's my first year on the beat, right? I just wrapped up my first year on the beat, and that was like kind of in the middle of the season. And you can tell which questions I ask because they'll be football related questions. I'm not going to be asking a player, what your favorite food is. But although I'll do that on Thanksgiving, I think that's cool. And sometimes I do. I did it with Josh Jacobs. We talked about Filipino food. Danica says, I must have a problem then. I talk to myself all the time. Jer says, are you going to be at OTAs? Of course. I work there. So of course I'll be there at OTAs. I will definitely be there. As the Raiders PR allows us to. So yeah, I will be there because that's where I work. Kevin says, I found Beast through Sanjeet. Yeah. And you know what? I talked to Sanjeet. I was supposed to hop back on his show, but he says he's busy. So he wants to wait till after the draft. But if you guys want me on the show, hey, watch his show and just say, hey man, when you got BEASTwriter on, just kind of tease him about it, push, give him a little nudge. Tell him, hey, let's help out BEASTwriter a little bit, Sanjeet. Come on, Sanjeet. No, he's a good guy. But no, let him know. Like, just like how I ask for your feedback. What do you guys want? Ask Sanjeet what you guys are the one that makes the money. You're the views. Oh, man. Dark says, I'm glad I'm not alone anymore. Thank you so much, Dark, for the super chat. I appreciate it. We are 1 hour and 23 minutes in. Actually, now 1 hour and 24 minutes in. 43 of you guys watching this, if you guys like what I have to say, please give this video a thumbs up. That is free. Or you can drop a super sticker or super chat if you feel the need to and want to support the DOB family here on YouTube. Also, you can do it through stars. There's a stars option now on Facebook where you can give stars to people. I don't know why you just call it. It's just to say donate. I don't know why they come up with these different names. You can give me a star, like a gold star, like I'm in preschool. Hey, you want a gold star today? No, I want a red star. Oh my gosh. Daniel Kim says, remember to hit the like and the bell notification to support our guy. Yeah, definitely do that, man. That's going to help out. The algorithm's going to help out pushing bigger prizes for all of you guys. The bigger we get, the bigger we grow, the bigger the DOB grows, right? When I mean DOB, I mean that's you. You're part of the DOB if you subscribe to the channel, or if you follow me on social media, you're part of the DOB family, right? And so the more we grow, look, if we can get 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube, I'll buy tickets to the Raiders game. All right? How's that? I will buy tickets to every Raiders game if we get 10,000 subscribers. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. March 1130 says, what are the chances Raiders trade Renfrow this offseason? That is a great question. Vinny said that no one's untouchable, which I reported this time last year that, that's the Raider way. But I would say there's a few untouchables, though, even though I said that there's no untouchable. I think Davante Adams, Max Crosby are the only two untouchables. You can't touch them. Can't touch us. Don't. No. But getting back to your question, he said that Hunter Renfrow is likely to be on the team, but we'll see. They got Jacoby Myers. They got Philip Dorsett. They got Davante Adams there. They're going to be drafting a wide receiver returner. How do I know this? Because I've been running the grades and kind of see how it's going. They're going to be drafting a wide receiver. I told you guys this yesterday. They'll be drafting a wide receiver or a tight end, either or, in the 3rd or 4th round, right? Probably multiple to create camp battle competition for rookies, right? So, again, could Renfrow be traded on draft day? He could be. Do I want him to get traded on draft day? No, I love Hunter Renfrow. Great guy, great person. He's a top 5 slot guy. I mean, when healthy. But again, dealing with concussion, got hurt, got banged up last year, and people are going to, oh, he's too small to get it done. It's like, you guys weren't saying that when you guys were pounding on the table for him to get a contract extension. Stop it. I love Hunter Renfrow. I hope he stays in silver and black for the long term. And there's a reason why he's there. I don't think he's going to get moved. But again, is he untouchable? No. But if there's 2 untouchables that I would have to say, it's Davante Adams and Max Crosby, and also Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously, you don't. They traded Jimmy Garoppolo back to the Niners because Brock Purdy's injury was. Oh my God. But they said they have Sam Darnold signed him to that 1-year deal. Dark says the writing is on the wall. I think Renfrow will wear a different uniform. Yeah, that could be, man. I mean, there's talks. Look, I go to the Trader Joe's here right down the street, and my guy, we talk about all the time. He's like, hey, man, do you think Renfrow's going to be traded? I'm like, man. And I have, by the way, Renfrow's family follows me here on YouTube and Twitter. So, I keep it 100. But I will say this. Would I be surprised if Renfrow got traded? No, I would not be. I would not be surprised if he got traded. And you hit it on the wall, right? Like, because of who they brought in. And if you can get Hunter Renfrow for a 3rd-round pick, why would you not make that move? You just have more ammo, more darts at the board, and then you can leverage 2024 draft how you see fit. I think it's a hard sell not to make that move for Hunter Renfrow if you can get a 3rd-round pick, just like they got with Darren Waller. D Menace, thank you so much for the super chat, my guy. He says, have a glass of Woodson wine on me, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know what? You know what's funny about this? Was it yesterday's live stream? Someone said bourbon whiskey, the Charles Woodson bourbon whiskey. I've been trying to reach out. If any of you guys know Charles Woodson, I've been trying to reach out to this guy but possibly getting a partnership here in the DOB. I drink his wine all the time. All the time. I go to the M Resort, D Minutes. That's where we met. That's where I met D Minutes, actually, at the M Resort. And what I got the Intercept red wine by Charles Woodson. Free advertisement, Charles. And so I see Charles Woodson, one of my favorite players of all time, by the way. And I see him having this and that. And I was like, man, I'm going to reach out to him on Intercept Wines to see if he would, sponsor the show or kind of work out a partnership or collab. Unfortunately, they never got back to me. And I sent him a DM, but we don't follow each other. I only follow him. But he never got back to me. So everyone knows Charles Woodson. Hey, man, BEASTwriter been trying to get a hold of you, man. He's trying to collab with you, bro. And his YouTube channel is fire. I'm telling you, he knows his stuff. Just lie to him. Just like, oh yeah, he really knows his stuff. He really sucks. He really knows. No, but thank you so much, Demons. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, my guy. Thank you. Yeah, we're at an hour and 30 minutes in. If you guys like what I have to say and you guys like to support the channel through a super chat or super sticker, really helps me a lot and helps the YouTube channel out a lot with upkeep of the channel. Do me a solid and you guys can do that. Otherwise, just give this video a thumbs up. That is free and that is just as good. I really appreciate all the love and support I've been getting. We're an hour and 30 minutes and 24 seconds in right now. 45 of you guys watching it, so it's good. Edgar V says, what's good, bro? Just hopped in. That's what's up. On a Friday night at 9:56 p.m. Standard Time. All right. If you guys have any more questions, go ahead and shoot them over to me. I will go ahead and answer them the best I can. Otherwise, I'm going to head out. I am actually going to be drinking some red wine tonight because I need to stay up late and watch more game film. It sounds crazy. Literally, you go to the gym over at EOS and people are telling me, because I work with them, they work for the Raiders and they see me. They just know, like I am just tired. I am just mentally drained. And so it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyways. All right. So Edgar V. C says, so what's new with the Raiders? Man, I talked about it, man. So I'll be ending this live stream if there's any more questions. But we talked about basically how they should not target Budda Baker. Anyone who says that they should, again, if I don't report it, odds are it's a non-issue. Because that's why you guys all appreciate what I provide. Like, not saying it's better, not saying it's worse, but I'm not going to waste your time because I don't have time to waste. So I value my time just as much as I value yours. So if I'm not posting it on an IG story, if I'm not posting it in a reel, if I'm not posting it on YouTube in a short, it's probably a non-issue. That is not going to happen. And I can hop on and talk about the numerous reasons why. We're an hour and 32 minutes in. And we already hashed that out. Now watch Budda Baker get traded to the Raiders. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. And I'm not saying I'm not liking the move if it did. Because, again, Budda Baker's one of the top 5 favorite players currently in the NFL. So for me to have that strong conviction on saying I think they should pass, that says a lot about me being unbiased in my analysis, right? And so I think you have to take everything with a grain of salt. But otherwise, when you look at the grading system in my grades, it just doesn't make sense financially and doesn't make sense based on the evaluation over the last 3 seasons, especially when it comes to his coverage grade. Oh man, Teddy says, thanks for putting on this showcase, Beast. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Daniel Kim says, we got your back, Beast. Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. And again, I love the nation, man. Niner fans are upset. I'm losing followers left and right on Instagram. I'm losing followers left and right on Twitter. I'm losing fans left and right on YouTube. So we are literally doing a reverse startup. It's not like a startup because I'm new to the nation. That's already hard in itself, but a reverse startup because now I'm losing followers because the Niner fans are falling off. So I need the nation to have my back, spread the word, say, hey man, this guy joined the dark side, hence dark side of BEASTwriter. Get it? Because I'm going from the Niners to the Raiders. So dark side of BEASTwriter, join the dark side. It is your destiny. So I think it's cool. Niner fans don't like it. Some Niner fans stay with me, but a lot of them kind of just dropped off like flies, man. But it's all good, man. Not really. Kind of hurt. But nation, hopefully you guys have my back and give me the same love that the Niners do. Maybe they're upset because I said that the nation has a more loyal fan base back in 2012, even as a 49ers beat writer, and they didn't like that. Literally said that. Posted up on my YouTube channel. Excuse me. But yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, so we are going to end this live stream. I just want to give a special shout out. Dark says, you're in the right place at Beast. Welcome to the dark side. Thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate that. So let me just give you a special shout out to everyone that dropped those comments and gave this video a thumbs up. There's 45 of you guys watching it. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. And also, if you're watching the replay, please drop those comments. I respond to every single one of you guys. And I do that because, again, I want you guys to have a voice. You guys need to be heard, right? Everyone can have an opinion about something. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Like, as I want that feedback. That's what this is about. As long as you're respectful about it, that's all I care. Like, I too much drama going on, man. Like, even with the nation and even with the 49er fans, like, they all kind of bicker. Like, not all of them, but I'm just saying, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, people bicker, like, no matter what fan base you root for, and it's just too much for me, man. We're all about good vibes only in here, so that's why we try to keep it low key. Dark side, well, I like to call dark side vibes. Dark side vibes means good vibes. So if you can keep it dark side vibes, you're good here in the DOB. Just tell all your family and friends to join the channel and join the fun. Thanks so much, Daniel Kim, for the super chat. I appreciate it as we end this live stream. Thank you so much, Kevin Lurker. You've been in the house, man, since day one as well. Dark, thank you so much. I've been seeing you over the past couple weeks, and thank you so much for the super chat as well. It really means a lot in helping the upkeep of the channel. My guy D Menace, thank you so much for modding along with DK. Really appreciate you guys doing that. And again, I am going to get that red wine as we speak. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I know I had a lot of fun. We're going to do it all again. I might do one tomorrow. I don't know how that works. I know everyone's busy with their stuff and family, and you guys kind of unwind, but maybe I'll hop on around 8 p.m. I don't know. And do one, because I have no life. You guys are my life. No wife, no kids, no worries. We got the DOB fam. That should be our motto, right? But no, thank you so much for tuning in. I had a lot of fun on this Friday night 4th and goal segment. We'll continue to do it starting next week if I don't do one tomorrow, as we keep things hot here, covering all things silver and black. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good night. BEASTwriter out.